Hi folks, welcome back to the Addicted Bookworm, where my addiction's all over the internet. On this channel, I do library book hauls, book reviews, both physical and digital, audiobooks, and so much more. So happy Sunday. It's currently 12:35 in the morning. This will actually be the first video that I will be doing. So, yeah. I'm also, take it back. I got a Storygraph video that I'm going to upload first, and then I'll upload this video, and then you'll get the other videos that come after it. And I will be uploading another YouTube short, so you're going to total about 5 videos today and everything. So it is the reading wrap up for this week. So it is the 13th. Tomorrow, I know I'm going to mention this in that Storygraph video, but tomorrow I will be going to the library just to drop the books off. I'm not going to be checking out any books or anything. I did delete 2 videos off of my shorts that were still on my phone. So yeah. Alright, so I did do a couple of reviews like for Dawn Shard and Polybus, but I decided not to upload those videos, to just go ahead and just do this one. Also, I think I've got one for Covert, but I decided not going to upload that video either because the reading wrap up will include Covert. Alright, so right now I am so first of all, I am currently down to 26 books that are on my Storyglyph. Anyways, and so those are great because I can just go ahead and re-borrow those books, get them read, and do the review. Alright, so first of all, Brandon Sanderson's Dawn Shard. So I have a total of about, not counting this book over here, I've got a total of about 4 books over there that I've not yet read. Tomorrow I will start on The Cellar. So yeah, so Brandon Sanderson's Dawn Shard, this is in between Oathbringer and Rhythms of War. Spoiler, I do have Rhythms of War. I did get the digital copy of Rhythms of War before I did my book buying ban. So I will actually be reading Rhythms of War in January, and it's all part of my 6 books that I will be reading for 2026. So yeah, so Dawn Shard. So it's basically about these people that they go to this island to make sure it's not in enemy hands. There's something about the island that zaps out all the storm light out of the person. The Radiant Knights, I believe, are also in this book, but they don't actually say anything, or you don't actually see them, like, by name. There was a weird encounter of a body that didn't decay. It was weird, but it kind of fell apart when it hit the water, which was bizarre. Weird. Weirdly, weird. Anyways, I did enjoy this book, and I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. But this was before I got Storyglyph, how you pronounce it. So, that review was not on there at all, but I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. The next one that I read was Polybus. This was a book I borrowed from the library. It was actually a book I had requested from the library as a digital edition. It finally arrived. Polybus was whacked out beyond anything. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it a lot. But Polybus is basically about this game that's discovered. And what happens is it's brought into this video world. It's a business. And people play it, and all their dark impulses that the brain suppresses comes up. And they do some weird shit to people. Oh god. And it gets so bad, like the government gets involved. And it's like, wow. That was something. That was something else. That was something else. But yeah, Polybus was scary, but it was a good scary. I enjoyed it a lot. Gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. Um, so let's see here. Um, then I read. I'm gonna scroll down here because. All right. I read. I read The Stand. Uh, I read The Stand, but you're going to get a review of that one probably next month, so I'm just going to ignore that. Um, let's see here. I finished the book Final Girls. I think I did a review on that one, but once again, I'm going to most likely delete it. Final Girls was done by Riley Sager. Um, and it's just basically about this guy. He has these women for like his sexual pleasure, which is weird, but they kind of like, they come together and everything to survive, and of course to have copious amount of sex with this guy. The only one is like this girl. She kind of, she's like, she's a virgin, and she wants her first time to be special, and he kind of gets pissed off about it. I'm sorry, you couldn't get any coochie from that girl. And then of course the other woman comes around and just like, does the deed out in the woods. But then there's this psycho that's out there in the woods that's watching this, and once again, the rule of horror is if you're a teenager and you're having sex, you're going to die. Sure enough, they die. But this one girl manages to get away. Take it back. These 2 women get away, Tara and another girl. Tara is institutionalized because obviously she's like nutty. The other girl, I don't know what happens to her. And then what happens is that she gets released from the loony bin, and her mother wants nothing to do with her, and actually goes as far as telling her husband that nobody is there. It was weird. Tara's like fascinated, like really determined to make this other girl remember what happened, and it was a very weird story. Tara, spoiler alert, Tara ends up dead because, she can't be the final girl no more. And the girl that survives is the true final girl. So, it was insane. You have this guy who had already had this desire to kill people, and he went in the military, and that just helped him get over it. So, military. Gotta love the military. Love the military. Alright, the next one that I read was Pies and Prejudice, A Charmed Pie Shop Mystery, Book 1. This is just basically like this woman, I think her name is Ella. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. She's a lady of color. And basically, she's got these magical abilities, generally connected to food, merely connected to pies. And basically, she discovers her husband cheating on her. She presses the button to the elevator, and her husband's getting some sweet stuff. And he's trying to save the marriage, and she wants nothing to do with them because he ain't the only one that he's had. And he gives her a check, which is weird. Really weird. And she opens up a pie shop with that money, but meanwhile there is this, I believe it was a woman that ended up dead, and by the time everything's said and done, we find out that having an unfaithful husband is not the least of your worries. Having a psychotic bitch is definitely right up there in the worry lane. So, yeah, I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. Alright, Gutsy Lovers and Cadavers, Rihanna's Son Mystery. This is number 2. This was a Nook. This was a book that I read off of on my Nook. And basically, it's just weird. It was weird. I read this book and I just could not make heads or tails about it, so I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. I just did not like the book. In fact, I'm going to buy the 3rd book way later on down the road. I have no desire to come back to the series anytime soon, so it's going to be at least, I'm going to try to come back in like 4 years and see if things are different. Yeah, that's a long time, but yeah, I'm just not into the series. Then we got, then I finally got back to, what was it? I can't remember the author's name, but he wrote, Before They Are Hanged, First Law, number 2. So, we're continuing from The Blade itself. You guys know who I'm talking about. And basically, this was another library book I had to hurry up and read, which I wasn't happy about that, but I kind of wasted too much time starting to read it. And basically, we continue on from the events of the first book, though I think we got some new characters in this book because they were all likable. I liked them all. And there is this envoy from this country where apparently the Sultan is trying to do peace, and the Crown Prince ends up dead. This is like later on in the book. And there's just something smells like this ambassador was set up and everything. I absolutely I'm gonna be honest, I like this book. I love this book. It was better than the first book, and so probably after I finish the fantasy book that I'm currently on now, I will get to the 3rd book. But yeah, I'll talk about that book in a little bit. So yeah, it has definitely a lot more interesting than the first book. I really was able to find myself, obsessed over this book. I thought this book was very, very well written, a lot better than the first book. There might have been a couple cringe-worthy moments in the book, but overall, it was a good ride. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. Yeah. Okay, so the next one was Reading Up a Storm, Lighthouse Library Mystery number 3. I actually checked this one out as an ebook from the library, and of course you have the cat, and you got the librarian, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in this book. I really couldn't do like much in-depth reading because the book was due on Tuesday, and there was not a I couldn't renew it because apparently somebody wanted it. So yeah, so I will get back to the book later on. I'm going to definitely reread it and do a lot more in depth than I did the first time around. So this is the last one I read for this week. This is Covert by Natasha Preston. This is about 5 friends who go out to this secluded cabin, and basically it's Mackenzie, Josh's girlfriend, forgot the other characters' names, and what happens is they kind of get their freak on and everything like that. They drinking and everything, and when Mackenzie and the guy she was sleeping with go down to get some breakfast, they find Josh and his girlfriend's dead bodies, and they call the cops, which is also the first sign that that they weren't hiding anything. And of course, this detective, they call it something else over there in England, is investigating all of them for their murders. And the person who actually did it is trying everything to get the police off of his or her scent, and doesn't do a very good job of it. And yeah, because the police did their tests, and the great thing having your fingerprints on file. And yeah, a brother is named Blake. Blake is Josh's brother. Blake is the one that, of course, they're primarily thinking that he's the one who did it because he's the brother. And overall, Mackenzie is kind of like, I love this. I'm in love with this guy and everything. I know this guy. I know Blake didn't do it because, obviously, for obvious reasons. But it isn't Blake. Blake's not the one who killed Josh. It is actually this other guy that did it. And sure enough, the police were correct. It was inside the cabin. The killer was inside the cabin. And it's all connected to a previous deaths. I did not put on the warning on that one where there's a scene in the book, and I did not include in my book review, where apparently Josh's girl was into bloodletting, like how those people who think they're vampires. And there was a photo of Josh being whipped, and the girlfriend licking the blood. It was gross. It was so gross. Natasha Preston's books are this is my second Natasha Preston book that I have read. She just goes for a loop. You're just not expecting it at all. I gave this 5 stars on Goodreads and on Storygraph, so it was definitely worth it. She does an excellent job. So the book that I am currently, I'm on a couple books, but the book that I'm really sinking what's left of my teeth into is the book, The Price of Power by Michael Mitchell, without the T. I am probably butchering the heck out of that name. So this is the first book in his Dreams of Dust and Steel, and Bald Book Geek did a review of the second book in the series, and I was just like, dang. I listened to the review. I loved the review. I was like, dang, I gotta see if this book is available on Kindle Unlimited. Not only available on Kindle Unlimited, but you can buy it for $5, which is great. I am currently on chapter 2 of the book, and so I did the prologue, or is it the epilogue? One of the two. And then I'm always on chapter 1. I didn't start chapter 1 until 11:41 at night. And I wanted to finally use the Colorsoft for what I intended to use it for, which was annotating my ebooks. The first chapter is fucking messed up. Literally. And I'm busy trying to figure out how to annotate my e-reader, or my book on here, or the book on here. Finally figure out how to do it. And I wrote things like, this woman's a bitch, and what the hell? And I was like, what? Why would you want to kill your grandson? It was insanity. And then so they would talk about these war serpents. I was so invested in chapter 1. And I'm busy annotating, great description of the troops, great description of the horses. It's oh God, it was insanity. So I finally figured out how to do it, and I was busy annotating almost every little thing that I thought was interesting, just really using this feature to its maximum. But later on today, I will read chapter 2 of the book, because I will say this. I love the description of the battle and the description of the men and the just like the description of like the whole environment and how this guy is responding to his grandmother forcing him to see this stuff that he's not ready to see. It's like, oh my god. So I should have Peach Pies and Alibis done today. I am down to the last 3 chapters of the book. So I will include that in next Sunday's weekly wrap up. I also have a Sherlock Holmes book that I'm reading. And this is this one right here. I'm actually reading 25 pages a day, so I will be renewing this book. I will be renewing this book tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow I'm going to start on The Cellar. After The Cellar, I basically will have 4 unread books from the pile. I personally don't care if I do finish all 4 books by the end of the month. If I don't, I'll just take those and move them over to the next month. I'm going to mention this in the Storygraph 1 that I just one of the huge reasons that I lowered the number of books that I was reading is because I just felt really overwhelmed by the number. I thought it'd be really cool to see if I could read 300 books, and I should have realized that was just not a good idea. So, as far as Goodreads are concerned, I am officially 1 book away from hitting that mark. And I know what book to read. It's a really quick novella, and I will hit my 240. That will be it. I will not be concerned with Goodreads after this. So I don't care if I'm reading something on Kindle, whatever. What I will actually do is just read it and review it, and if it pops up on the Goodreads, okay. I think if you don't set up a challenge for next year, like when it's time to do that, it will not pop up. I'm totally fine with that. Next year, I'm doing everything on Storygraph and everything and all that because I just like the look of the website. I just like the look of the app. Alright, that is my video for today. Well, for right now. I will upload the Storygraph 1 after this one, and then, yeah. Alright, I will see you guys around.